All right, guys, what's going on? Hope everybody is doing all right today. Let me go through the chat here. Let's see. Ahmed, what's going on? In Vixity? Hopefully I did that right. Scorch, hey man, it's good to see you again. Rick and Burger spinoff. What's going on, dude? James, welcome in. Jeremy, what's up? So, Bad Boy Karate. That would be a good spinoff idea. I think Sean is definitely gonna be excited to hear a lot of these spin-off ideas and stuff like that. So Sean will be here in about 12 minutes. So just kind of wanted to go live first and say thanks, guys. Really, thank you guys for all the support over the years. You guys are the reason these interviews and things like that, these videos I'm able to make happen. If you guys missed it yesterday, holy crap, man, such a fun time with Zach and Leo. It was still awesome to kind of go back and rewatch that interview a couple of times after it. So it's really, really cool. We talked about so many cool different things: the video game soundtrack, video game influences, musical influences, and stuff like that. It's still up there on the channel. Definitely go check it out when you get a chance. Please support them by pre-ordering your season 6 soundtrack. Definitely check them out. So really, really good, really cool. So yeah, it's been awesome, man. It's been awesome too. I have some more exciting news about some more interviews on the way too. I'm confirming a few details. I'll have another announcement here later today, if not tomorrow. So we'll see what's going on and whatnot. So Sonic, what's up, dude? Welcome in. So very, very excited for some of these upcoming interviews, man. I'm always excited for any interview I'm able to get, honestly. So it's really, really cool and stuff. So Bilbo, woke up. I was trying to say welcome in. Sonic just listening at the moment, no problem. Degenerate. Okay, so what? All right, all right. Raise your hand if I should ban Degenerate. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just giving Degenerate a hard time. Let's see. Oh, thank you. It's so it's a piece of licensed music I bought a while back. I use this a lot in my videos. Typically, like if you watch my videos with like the recap section, the track is called Minefield. So not like Minefields, like the name of the season 4 episode 7, but like in your mind fields, basically. So whatnot. So I vote Degenerate as a mod. Okay, Jeremy, you're getting banned for that one. No, I'm just kidding. So raise hands. See, we got one vote. We got one vote already. So. Otto, thanks for subbing. So yeah, man, it's been really cool. It's been a really fun week so far, and it's barely Tuesday, man. So it's been really, really cool. Going back to Taekwondo tonight, which is really really cool. I'm trying to think what else I have planned. I might be working on some more background stuff tomorrow. Going out of town with the fiance to kind of look at some venues and stuff this weekend, visiting my parents as well. That's what I'll pretty much be doing. Nothing too crazy. And then back to work next week. So yeah, I took some time off for Cobra Kai, so as I usually do. So it's been yeah, it's been pretty cool, man. Off stream, I want to talk about this first, because like I can't believe this came across my news feed. Let me go to Discord and look at the article. Some of the team from Marvel Rivals got laid off. It's nuts to me, dude. The director and the team got laid off for whatever reason, which is stupid, man, because like that game is so hot right now. So Thaddeus Sasser, who I assume is the director, on his LinkedIn said, "This is such a weird industry. My stellar talented team just helped deliver an incredibly successful new franchise in Marvel Rivals for NetEase Games, and we were just laid off. Oh well, time's tough all over. Let's find these incredible people new jobs because we all need to eat, right? Today I'm going to start with inspiring Gary McGee. During the course of the project, Gary was fantastic to work with. This is a highly technical designer currently working in level design, but I've seen his passion project, who is a proactive problem solver. A lot of our time on the project was spent as sort of an R&D branch, coming up with new level design mechanics, gameplay mechanics, so on and so forth. Yeah, so Damn, this is crazy, man. I can't believe they're already getting laid off and stuff. That's insane, dude. Yeah, man. Sad. So, yeah, it just broke on Twitter. The Wario64, which I think they cover like a lot of gaming channels. They broke it on Twitter. As of, let's see, let me make sure it opens up here in this tab. This broke as of an hour ago, actually, almost 2 hours ago. I'll copy and paste the status here in the chat. Not the first company I've heard say that. Yeah, exactly. So, Zach, welcome in, by the way. For the most part, I like the season 6 ending, but I was a little not to see my. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for that too. So, and whatnot. It was Sam's fault. Yeah, everybody always likes to blame everything on Sam, which is kind of funny. So. Oh crap! I did not mean to close this file. Let's open this back up. Got my notes here. So. Yeah. Are there any pieces of media besides Cobra Kai? Yes. There's a new show I'm going to ask him about called Bloodhound. That's his newest work, I believe, that he did that. So we're definitely going to be asking him about his stuff too, because he's definitely just more than karate's bad boy. He's also in The Bold and the Beautiful, in an ongoing role as Deacon Sharpe. So definitely be asking him a lot of good questions. I got a lot of good questions from you guys too that I've tried to collect. Along with some of my own questions as well too. So let's see. Shuffle still on? I hope it is. It is. All right, cool. Yeah, I try to put together so many questions for you guys and whatnot too. And I'm sure like the chat will come in with some other questions I hadn't even thought of. So Shadowy Ghost, welcome in. So Barnes got done the most dirty. Yeah, I know a lot of people are kind of upset. I know a lot of it had to do with Sean's injury. Like he had a shoulder injury I think he prolonged surgery until after season 6 part 1 wrapped. So yeah, it was one of those things too. So let me see. Adjust the AC in here. So yeah, there is. I know a lot of people. It's been crazy too, but like that's all really awesome. I think it's also due to the fact that. Sorry, I'm responding to a message. A lot of people, we were anticipating his return, especially like when Terry Silver kind of teased it at the end of season 4, and he's definitely one of the most memorable, villains from the Karate Kid trilogy. So. But I was kind of glad that they at least kind of gave him some dimension as far as not just being some guy that was just like money hungry and things like that. So I've not yet seen it, but don't worry about it. Okay. I was like, dang, Sonic. I was like, yeah, we're definitely talking about some spoilers and stuff like that. So actually that means, I need to ask him some other stuff about my character analysis as well too. Because I think he is, aside from Dallas, he was also one of those, he's seen some of my work before too, which to me I still think is nuts. So let's see, I'm gonna pull up some of my notes here too. All right, let me check out some new stuff. Future Miyagi-verse spinoff for sure. Won't lie, 5 episodes. If they left season 6 as a cliffhanger, season 7 was a thing, they could have wrapped up way more plots. Wait, 5 episodes? Are you talking about 5 episodes per plot? Because yeah, season 6 as a whole has 15 episodes. Chosen versus Silver rematch. Yeah, that would have been really cool to see. Definitely a lot of good questions to ask him, especially about dream matches and all kinds of things and whatnot too. I don't know if he's seen the first video I did on Mike, but he's seen the one I did on him most recently, which I thought was really cool. So for season 6, was it filmed at one part then split up? I think they had different shooting sessions from what I understand, but I think a lot of it was wrapped up in 2024. So when the questions present, yeah, I saw that and stuff like that. So one last major fight after the tournament. Yeah, that's fair. So, but it all started with the tournament and ended with the tournament. I think it was a good way to go out for sure. Yeah. Like, instead of 15 episodes for season 6, Kwanzaa, that should have been a cliffhanger in episode 10, and then have season 7 be the final. No, I think season 6 was fine. 6 seasons was fine. They had mentioned possibly doing maybe season 7 or 8 at one point, but I know they had mentioned that season, like, the plan had always been like 6 seasons initially. I mean, it was really cool that they did 15 instead of 6. I think any more than that would have been too much, because now at least what they can focus on spin-offs, like on certain characters. I think we can kind of get like our own stuff like that and stuff. So yeah, because like I think it would have been overdone and whatnot. So what's for dinner tonight? Don't know. Probably something protein heavy, since I'll be going to Taekwondo later after this. So that's pretty much what's going on. So Rise of the Cobras. Yeah, I'm really hoping for a young Miyagi prequel for sure. So thank you, Bilbo. I appreciate it. So Terry Silver's paying his compensation for the death. Yeah, the Rembrandt and whatnot. So they didn't show. Let's see. Let's turn this down a little bit. They didn't show Silver and die. No, they're dead. The writers have kind of confirmed it. Actually, Martin Cove did too. He said there was like a cut scene with the magazine stand where we saw Kreese's hand grab an article talking about what happened to Terry Silver, and he said he preferred it to have did it in the original cuts the way they did it, mainly because it would have been too hokey and stuff like that. Chosen Wolf versus Wolf would have been really cool too. Yeah, so yeah, that would have been really, really cool. Let me make sure I didn't. Okay, I wanted to make sure that I did not miss him hearing coming in and stuff like that. So let's see, where's the show the Wiggins National Champion? I was really wanting to know. Karate Kid Part 3. Terry talks about it, the tournament terror. Mike also reaffirms this in Underdogs, where he says, you were a Valley champion, but I was national. So Taekwondo is very similar to the Cobra Kai style of very true. So Hayden says he thinks they survived. I don't know. But also Hayden's a really big Terry Silver fan, so if he found a way to make Silver survive, I think he would have. But then Silver would be, oh, that might be him. He would have been passing away eventually because of his illness and whatnot. So let me make sure he is back here. Are we good to go, Sean? Okay, cool. So let me bring him up. I got to do my guest intros as always. So, all right, my pleasure to introduce you for today's guest. He won the Emmy Award for Outstanding Production Team for Studio City and the Independent Series Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in Studio City, both in 2021. Emmy nominee, you guys know him as Mike Barnes from Karate Kid Part 3 and Cobra Kai, AJ Quartermain from General Hospital, and Deacon Sharpe on Bold and the Beautiful and The Young and the Restless. Please welcome Sean Kanan. Sean, how is it going, my friend? How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no, thank you. This is really a full circle moment for me because, you were one of the first actors to have ever seen some of my work on the channel, and for you to like share it and comment on it, just man, it really meant a lot to me. And so I also kind of watched Karate Kid, like the trilogy, out of order. So you were the villain I was most familiar with because I remember they used to rerun Karate Kid Part 3 and Next Karate Kid on Disney Channel in the 90s, like the 90s, early 2000s. So it was really, really cool to, you know, do that. So for you to have like be one of my guests as like the villain I'm most familiar with is, you know, really full circle moment for me.
Well,
so.
I appreciate it. You know, all of you guys and girls that do podcasting and are, you know, fans of the Karate Kid, Miyagi versus Cobra, we really appreciate it. I mean, you guys have made this such a special experience, and created a sense of community for us. And you know, I'm happy to do it when I have time. I always try and do these, you know, if
I
I'm
appreciate
able
it
to.
for sure.
Absolutely.
And of course, I see the famous gi in the background from Underdogs.
Ah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
hold on a second. Hold
Sure,
on.
go
I
ahead.
can give you the full treatment here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Hang on.
Do the lights
there
too?
We go. Hang on 1 second.
That's so awesome.
Sorry about that. I'm gonna quiet my dog down for a second.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, you know, that was I made the mistake when I did Karate Kid 3. I really wasn't aware of memorabilia and stuff then. It was 35 years ago. And I'll never forget, a little kid asked me if he could have my black sleeveless Cobra Kai gi, and I gave it to him. And I was like, you know, I mean, I'm sure I made the kid really happy, and that makes me happy.
Right.
But I said, I'm keeping this one. And I've got a friend, and his name's Danny Serrano. He lives in Palm Springs.
Okay.
And he is a really, really talented guy. He makes these amazing 3D diorama type frames for all different movies.
Right.
And they're not that big. They're like that. And I said, hey, Danny, do you think you could make me a really cool one for the Cobra Kai gi? And so he made me this amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen in some of your previous interviews and podcasts, so it's been really cool to see. But before we get to Cobra Kai and Karate Kid, I definitely have some questions. I want to talk about fitness for a second because you keep in such phenomenal shape. What's your regimen? Like, what's your routine? Are you doing like isolated body exercises? I'm so you also still practice martial arts. Am I correct?
Yeah,
so,
I do.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know this, but I had it was called a full and massive tear of my supraspinatus.
Yes, I've heard about.
So when I went down to do Cobra Kai, I hadn't had the surgery yet because the surgeon told me, he goes, Sean, if I do the surgery, you're not going to be able to do Cobra Kai. And they hadn't even asked me back for season 6 yet. So I assumed that I was going to maybe go back.
Right.
But I put the surgery off because I didn't want anything to stand in the way of me doing it. So when I went down to Atlanta and filmed the fight scene with Billy, I was dealing with that injury. So as soon as I got back, I had the surgery and started a regime of stem cells, and it's really good now. But I don't have the strength in it that I used to yet.
Mm-hmm.
So my workout had to change.
Right.
I did a lot of rehabilitation stuff, flexibility, mobility. And just now I'm starting to do more of the full body spectrum training that I used to do.
Okay.
What do I do? You know, for me, I'm 58 years old, and it took me a really long time. I know what I can eat and what I can't eat. And the stuff that I can eat, I pretty much eat whatever I want in that group. You know, and it's a high protein. I don't want to say low carb. I don't eat a lot of processed foods. I don't eat corn, rice. Try and stay away from flour. You know, I will eat carbs, but they'll be, you know, healthy carbs. I don't drink alcohol. What else? I take a lot of supplements. And you know, I only work out about 3 times a week.
Okay.
But that's enough. And you know, I'm pretty diligent about watching my weight and everything. I mean, I keep a pretty tight lid on it, but I also don't live a life that's so constricting that, you know, I feel like I'm always denying myself.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. No. And we were definitely talking about that too, because I know a lot of people in the chat were like, we should have seen more Mike Barnes, but I definitely knew about you. I think it was Ken Cole you were talking about the shoulder injury with, and when I think he interviewed you right after you had the surgery, so I knew that was one of the reasons why we might not have seen a lot of Mike Barnes in season 6 and
You
stuff
know,
like that. So
actually, that's not the reason why.
okay.
I think originally I was going to be at the Sekai Taikai, and from from what I understand, what I was told, um, was that the show's budget was, they started restricting the show's budget.
I see.
And I even said to the producers, look, I'll come as what's called a local hire, which means I'll fly myself there, put myself up, and save you that money. And they said, Sean, we can't even do that. We just don't have the money to
Oh
do it. I
wow.
was really crushed because, I think it would have been one more interesting aspect of Johnny getting advice from a very different,
Right.
um, a different mindset. But you know what? Look, I live my life in abundance and gratitude, and I'm thankful for, the opportunity that I had to be there on two different seasons. I don't look at what I, wasn't given.
Right.
So, you
Right.
know,
Yeah, no, it was of course always still really good to see you, especially from we were a lot of us were still looking forward to, and then when Terry kind of finally hinted at his old friends, we definitely knew
yeah,
that Mike Barnes
yeah.
wasn't too far behind.
I
Yeah,
didn't know until I saw a meme the other day that Dennis burned down my furniture store.
yeah, yeah,
What an asshole, man. I mean, he and I were friends.
yeah.
Guy burns down my furniture store.
God dang.
Probably killed Snake too.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, I think I would. I think I kind of agree with you there. So another quick question on the fitness: do you have a go-to cheat meal?
I don't really do cheat meals.
Okay.
If I do something that's a cheat meal, I'll probably have ribs, with no sauce on them, no sugary
Okay.
sauce. I will use a lot of Bad Boy hot sauce, which
Yeah.
is my hot sauce line.
Yeah.
But if I had to say what a cheat meal, there is a really good Chinese food restaurant right up the street from me, and they do incredible dim sum. And I
Oh,
would
that
say
sounds
that,
good.
I'll go get that once every couple months, and
Okay.
that's a cheat meal. But even when I do that, like I don't eat a lot of the soy sauce.
Right.
I try really hard not to order things that have seed oils in them and are really oily. So,
Sure.
um, and here's the thing I tell people: if you're looking to lose weight or you're looking to stay in shape, it's better to be consistently good than occasionally excellent and then lousy the rest of the time.
Right.
With how often you go to the gym or how you do in your diet or anything. And this really kind of dovetails into something I talk a lot about in my books.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to have results, one of the great ironies in life is that you need to ignore them. You need to focus on building a bulletproof process, something that is a series of effective habits that, when applied consistently and effectively, while always looking at it to tweak it, and do sort of diagnostics, if you apply that over the long stretch of time, you'll achieve the results.
Right.
So don't focus on the result, focus on creating the process that will lead you to the results.
It's very funny because like back when I was in insurance, that was something a kind of a similar mindset that developed to was like, don't focus on the results, just focus on the process. So I love
Yeah.
that. I love that analogy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Look,
but
you might, part of that process might be I have to make 100 calls a week, and I might
right.
get turned down. But if I make those 100 calls a week, even though it's not manifesting into sales right now,
Mm-hmm.
I know that the benefit will come. And there's two other things. It's so funny because I just did another podcast with an insurance guy,
Right.
and I speak a lot with business people, and I say, I bet you're thinking, what am I going to learn from a guy that's an actor? And I said, believe it or not, I'm in sales too. The first group of people that I'm selling myself to are the casting directors and the producers.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I achieve, I cross that threshold, I have to sell myself through my performance to the audience. So I said, I completely understand. And I said, let me postulate this to you. Assuming that your product is more or less as good as the other guys, What is going to help you come across the finish line is your authenticity. People are ultimately buying you. And so if you concentrate as part of your bulletproof process on always being of service, not concentrating so much on how I can make this sale, but how can I be of service to you and bring value? When people don't feel like they're being sold, they feel like they're being connected with authentically, then, the gates to the kingdom start swinging open.
Right. Yeah, it's all about trust. And, definitely one of a key, something that even Daniel talked about in season 2 and season 3 was just, building that trust. And that was just also really why I'm glad you're here, because the fact that you trusted me enough to, come on the platform as well, too. It just, it really meant a lot to me. And that was something that, by the way, I had Matt Borlenghi on the other day, too. He spoke very highly of you.
Oh, I've known Matt forever.
Yeah.
I love Matt.
What are some of your fondest memories of working with Matt?
So I did a film with Matt called Jack Rio.
Right.
And he killed me in that film, I think. It was great because it was a gritty little movie and Matt was producing it. And I hadn't worked with Matt before that and really got a chance to see, he's a talented guy.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw him pop up as the pawn guy in Cobra Kai, before I got on, I was like, yeah, good for you. I always root for other people's success. And that's another big thing that I'm a proponent of. Other people's success is not your failure. If you, especially in Hollywood, if you're looking around at what other people have and where they are in their career as opposed to you, you will be in a perpetual state of dissatisfaction and living in scarcity.
Right.
I was in acting class with Brad Pitt, and if I look at where his career is and where mine is, I would feel like a failure, but I don't. That was his journey, and my journey's been amazing, and I've had amazing things bestowed upon me and opportunities, and that's what I focus on, because ultimately the only person that I compete against is myself.
Right.
And that's really the premise of the second book in the Way of the Cobra series, which is Welcome to the Kumite. It's an epic battle against your greatest opponent, which of course is yourself. And how do you defeat yourself? How do you defeat an opponent that knows everything about you, your deepest, darkest fears? You do it by experiencing a metaphoric death every day and being reborn as a kinder, wiser, tougher, more compassionate version of who you were the day before. And that's the process. And as long as you stay in that process of continually trying to improve, the results will come.
Right. Definitely. And it's the, as they say, comparison is the thief of joy. So that's a even in my niche of like, because Cobra Kai is one of the topics I cover on YouTube. There have been times too where I tried like really hard not to compare myself to others out there and whatnot too, because it's like you say, everybody brings something different to the table.
You have your own unique perspective of the show that no one else is going to have, and that's what you have to focus on.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. Tell me about Bloodhound. It's your newest project, correct?
Well, it's actually my wife's baby. She
produced it,
wrote it, directed. I am one of the producers on it, and I act in it. But it's based on the Isabel Gardner Museum art theft, which to date is still the greatest unresolved art theft.
Oh wow!
In the United States, I don't know in the world, but in the United States. And so it's a series of intrigue, and I play the lead FBI agent who is on the case. And it's great working with my wife. I love watching her be creative and watching her have an embryonic idea that gestates, and then the genesis is actually being on set. So I'm very proud of her. Awesome. And that's just one of the projects that she and I are working on. I'm also the showrunner, executive producer, and head writer, and Michele's the executive producer of a new show called Unsuited, which I'm really excited about. We'll have finished 6 episodes in the next month or so, and Michele and I were just hired to write an action film, which we started. So
That's awesome.
We're working as a team on a lot of different things, and it's great when you're sleeping with a producer who can hire you. So
yeah, no, that's great. Congrats to you both too.
Thank
you. So while we're on the subject, so my girlfriend and I, we just got engaged in December.
Okay.
So
Congratulations, Mazel
Thank you.
Tov.
Thank you. Any advice you could give me to be a good husband?
Yeah. First of all, get our book, Way the Cobra Couples. That's the first thing.
For
And I'm
sure.
being serious. I'm not being cheeky. There's great information in it, and it's written from my perspective and my wife's perspective, so you get a man and a woman. Um, Trust is fundamental. The foundation of the relationship has to be predicated on trust, communication, obviously, but and common goals. It's really important that you guys are clear and specific on the things, the direction you want to go in your life. And the flip side of that coin is remembering that you're both individuals and don't lose your individuality within the relationship. Um, Let your individuality bring strength to making the sum greater than the parts. But there's things in my life that I'd like to achieve that aren't really that important to Michele, and
Right.
vice versa. And I think sometimes I lead, and other times I follow, and Michele does the same. And you have to be able to support each other's individual goals as well as the couple goals. I think that's really important. Um, and it's going to sound silly, but have fun together. Remember, what was it that first attracted you to your wife, your partner? And when things get tough, and they will, and you'll argue, and it's okay to argue. Michele and I we call it bench clear. We have a good screaming match about once a month. But what happens is we don't let things fester. They don't foment into resentments that become cancerous. We get it out. um, but have fun. Remember what it was that first attracted you. And I'm not just talking about physically.
Right.
And during the times when it gets difficult, remember that. And the other thing too is when you fight, and you will fight, don't fight to win. Fight to resolve so that you can move the relationship further. Michele
Okay.
has this thing called being dead right. And dead right is when you are absolutely right, but you have scorched the earth to show everybody, and you're standing victorious, but alone because everything else has gone up in flames. So that goes back to what I talk about, sort of the win-win scenario.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's all really, really excellent advice. And my fiance is actually in the chat right now. She's like, "You better be a good husband," jokingly, but yeah. So, but yeah. No,
And
I
respect
really
each other,
appreciate it.
and respect each other. Show each
Yes,
other
sir.
respect. Never talk badly about each other to other people. Never allow anyone to talk badly about either of you. And I'll give you guy to guy. I'm going to give you a good piece of advice.
Okay.
The minute you start, and I don't mean you, but the minute
Right.
one starts speaking badly of their wife, especially in front of other men, you know what it does? It rings the dinner bell. It tells them, you know what, huh? Maybe she's not happy. Maybe I got a shot with her. You're chumming the water for sharks to come knocking.
Right.
You got a problem. You don't handle that shit in public,
Right.
right?
Exactly. No, that's
Yeah.
really, really, really great advice and whatnot. And no, I really appreciate it too. The chat, yeah,
Sure.
definitely all agrees. Definitely good.
I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you
Sure.
one more
Yeah,
because I
go
think
ahead.
it's
Go ahead.
important.
Please.
So funny. Michele and I were talking about this last night. Michele really wanted to have not a very big wedding, and I was like, Michele, the reason I want to have all these people at our wedding is because marriage is difficult, and when the going gets tough, you want people that have witnessed your commitment to come together and are invested in the success of your marriage. And when times get tough, we've got some friends going through some stuff right now, and Michele and I have stepped up to help them because we love them both,
Right.
and we are committed to them being happy. And you're going to need people in your life outside of just your family
Mm-hmm.
who, when the going gets tough, is going to either give you good advice or, you know, be supportive, not be anyone who is speaking negatively or anything like that. And the iron circle that you build around your relationship to protect it, be very careful who you let in. Only people that are in support of both of you, that are good people with good intentions. Because life itself is difficult enough for a marriage. You don't need pit vipers, you know, swirling around there.
Right. No,
Yeah.
that's really, really excellent. And we're both very thankful to have I would say maybe at least 3 or 4 couples that we do trust, like in that iron circle, as you're mentioning.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and we actually even consulted. I don't want to. I'm not gonna get too personal, of course, because she's watching. She's like, hey, but like there was something we were talking about the wedding. There was something that she and I were like, you know what? Let's bring our friends and see what they think. That way
Mm-hmm.
we kind of like reach the common ground, because we're also wedding planning right now too. So it's
Mm-hmm.
and it's what I really like about season 6, part 3. Shout out to Ron Thomas, because I loved how Bobby was like, you got to take the leap. When is anything ever going to be perfect? And that really kind of hit close home to me because of what we're
Right,
all kind of like planning and things like now. So,
right.
yeah, no, really, really, really great advice. And I
And
appreciate
don't,
you.
and you know
Yeah.
what? You know what? When things get stressful planning the wedding, because they will,
Right.
remember that you're planning this amazing wedding because you love each other. Don't allow the, don't allow the, the things that become a pain in the ass, as they will, when you're dealing with logistics and stuff. Just at the end of the day, reconnect and remember, go, wow, that was crazy. That's hard. We'll sort it out. I'll marry you in a cardboard box under a bridge if I have to. It's
Right.
about us. It's not about who we're seating next to each other. Don't allow the little things to, um, cause problems for you.
Right. Yeah, no, that's really, really great advice. So I hope Toto, if you're in there, that's her username in the chat. So look, see, I'm getting some good advice from Karate's Bad Boy. So, uh, you know, um, I want to do a quick question from the chat. Kyan,
Sure.
thanks for stopping in. She asked, uh, "What are your fond memories of working with the late great Tyler Christopher Nicholas in General Hospital?" I think is what she said. So,
I've known Tyler for a very long time. Very, very long time. Um, he had a really good heart. He was a terrific actor. There have been times that Tyler and I were struggling at the same time with alcohol, and there were times when he was he was getting it under some semblance of control, and times that I was and he wasn't, and so we sort of watched each other's paths, and um, it was heartbreaking. It really was heartbreaking to watch that, and it was a waste, and it's crushing, and my heart broke. I reached out to him after I think he got arrested or something, and I just said, listen, man. I said, I have been exactly where you are when you feel like you've just burned the house down. And I said, you got to take care of yourself right now. Don't worry about any of that other shit. That will sort itself out, or it won't. But you have to take care of you. And I want you to know you're not alone. You can call me. And maybe I should have stepped up in a bigger way. I mean, I wasn't, there were people closer to him than me, but yeah, it was really difficult.
you know, I'm sorry to hear, but the fact that you were still
Yeah.
there for him, though, I think the fact that you were still there for him did something. I think that still makes all the difference in the world, because it's like you said earlier. It's just like worrying about at least focusing on what you did, than not what you weren't able to do. So I still think that's
Yeah.
really cool that you guys stuck by each other for so long. So
Yeah.
and then Kyan says sorry for your loss. So as far as I go. Um,
Thank you.
One thing I wanted to ask you as a writer, because the scripts I write and the scripts that you write are kind of different, but we both kind of script. How do you conquer like writer's block, or have you ever dealt with that? How do you navigate? If you're getting like you're stuck on a page, so to speak.
Sometimes you got to know when to take a break,
Okay.
you know? Um, I'm a big fan of, when you're struggling creatively, to do something that will inspire you creatively. Um, Go to a museum, go for a walk in nature, go watch a really good film, go see a play, go see a musical, go read. Do something that is going to inspire your artistic inclinations, and then go back and try again. It's funny. My challenges in writing are more story based, because as an actor, I look at things like every scene has three components. It's got what is the goal that the character is going after, what are the obstacles standing in the way of that goal, and what are the actions that character is going to take to achieve that goal. And every scene has to move the ball down the field towards achieving the macro goal. Okay. So in my head, I can almost play out dialogue, and I usually don't have a difficult time with that. I struggle more with logistical aspects and sequential aspects of a story. I'm very fortunate that my wife is very analytical in her writing, and so she is like the perfect writing partner for me because
It's awesome.
my challenge is actually her forte, and I think she kind of, is happy sometimes following when it comes to writing the dialogue, and together, it works pretty well. But I think the thing with writer's block is you need to not let it undermine you and become like an 800-pound elephant. Like if nothing's coming to you, take a break, go do
Hmm.
something else, go do something else. The other thing too is always have a pen and paper or even your phone. And when something comes to you, write it down. You won't remember it. You won't. I've tried it and I've forgotten stuff that I know was good. Now I'll wake up at 3 in the morning and I'll send myself a text, voicemail. Have this character, da 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 da. You know what I mean? Just
Right.
do it. But it's amazing for me how going for a walk um, has been the genesis of so many good ideas and has helped me resolve writing problems in the past. Find something that you like to do. Maybe it's working out. I don't know.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah, no, that's really really good, and I'm kind of glad that like when like the main advice just taking a break and things like that, because there have been times where like working on the channel, because I love Cobra Kai, but like I don't know how familiar you are with my process. So like for example, when a new season comes out, I'm watching it for the first time as a fan. Then I watch it again for the Easter eggs. Then if I'm doing the eyes through another character, then I'm watching certain episodes again. And so it gets tiring because like I love the show, but then I want to get to that don't want to get to that point where I'm just kind of doing stuff in routine or just kind of putting things out there that I don't want to half-ass
You don't
anything.
want to be
So
derivative and you don't want to
right,
put out stuff that everyone else is doing. Yeah, no, I completely get that.
yeah. So no, yeah, that's some really really great advice. So
It's interesting you
sure,
say that because I had an acting teacher and he used to say, I have more in common with a successful plumber than I do with an unsuccessful acting teacher. Meaning the very things that you need to be successful in one pursuit, most likely you have to utilize those in the pursuit of other things. One of which being having character, you
right.
know, doing what you say, saying what you mean, blah blah blah, work ethic, self discipline, right? All those things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that when you were talking about your process, it's actually very similar to my process. I'll get a script, and the first time I'll read it, I just read it as for enjoyment.
Right.
I don't start formulating choices in my head. And then I go back and I read it again and I concentrate specifically on what my character says. And then I go and read it again and I concentrate specifically on what the other characters say about my character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny. It's completely different than what you do, and yet we do some of the same stuff.
Different but same, as Miyagi
Yeah,
would say. So
yeah,
yeah,
different but same.
yeah. So
Right.
um, so another question from the chat. Jeremy wants to know: do you have a top thing on your bucket list?
This is going to sound silly, but honestly, doing a TED Talk was one of my bucket list things.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
I have one that just came out. It was given editor's choice, but I'm not plugging that. The reason I'm saying that is last year was one of my goals, and it just didn't seem like I was getting any traction. I was like, okay, maybe it's not going to happen this year. We'll put that aside. Way of the Cobra won an award. I went to the award event. I met a guy who was a best-selling author. We hit it off. He said, I want to introduce you to somebody. That somebody turned out to be a coach for TEDx.
Oh wow.
She lived in Toronto. I said, I don't suppose you're going to be in LA anytime soon. She said, well, as luck would have it, I'm going to be there in a few days. I wound up having lunch with her. Before that, I sent her a video of what I wanted to do my speech on. And she said, I'm given one person, one slot a year, and you just got it. And so,
That's awesome.
it was a bucket list thing that I didn't think was going to happen. So that's why that was one of them. Bucket list thing. I really want to go to China. I've been studying Mandarin for a couple of years. Want to go to China. Um, wow, I don't know. I would really like to, through my hot sauce and food brand Bad Boy Eats, eventually do something akin to what Paul Newman did with Newman's Own,
Hmm.
and start a really big scale charitable endeavor, a foundation that really can help do some good in this world.
Right.
And I know that sounds kind of like a beauty queen, like but I want to do that. I think that I talk about in my TEDx. I say, look, the secret to life, I believe, is discovering the unique special gift that each one of us has been endowed with. The meaning of life is to take that gift and share it with the world to make the world a better place. And I think for me, if I think one of my gifts is the ability to be a communicator, through my acting, my writing, my speaking. How can I take that and use that to help other people? And the hot sauce, it requires a lot of communication. It's selling, it's and
Right.
I would very much like to, I think like a lot of people, I had regrets. There's things I wish I had done differently, but they ultimately all led me to where I am. So they're not devastating regrets, but I feel like I want to use what time I have left on this planet to be a force for good, to help serve other people, to serve God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And I find that the more I do that, kind of the more great stuff happens to me,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
that's really awesome. The TEDx you're talking about, that was the one in Dallas last year, right? In October.
Yes,
I was
yes. And
so sad I could not go because I'm in Houston,
oh,
so
have
I
you
was just
seen it?
like, yeah,
Have you
no,
seen it?
parts of it. I need to go back and rewatch the entirety, but yeah, I'm
Please
yes,
watch it. Yeah,
of
just
course,
you can. Actually, I'd really appreciate it if you put a
yes.
link
Let me
up
do
if
that
you
right
don't
now.
mind.
Yeah,
That would be great.
let me pull it up too. And that was on
That would
the
be.
TEDx channel, correct?
What's on the TED channel? Um,
How to be the hero of your own story.
yeah, that's
Got it.
it.
Okay, I'm gonna drop it here in the
Which
chat.
is which is interesting because they kind of changed the title on me. The title really was the journey of unbecoming, and I'll just tell you really quickly what it's about.
Sure.
From the time we're little, society and our parents push us to become a success, to become a winner, to become someone. And I postulate, what if that blueprint is not only incorrect but possibly leading us in the wrong direction? What if finding meaningful happiness and true success isn't about becoming someone else? It's about unbecoming. All the things that society has foisted on us, stripping those away, getting back to connecting with your authentic self. And I say, do you remember who you were before you were told who to become? And I talk about the experience of when I almost died doing Karate Kid 3, and then later in my life, at my 50th birthday, how I'd kind of lost my way, and the strategies I used to unbecome who I'd become, getting back to my authentic self. And I really, if you know somebody who's maybe struggling or looking for some inspiration, I really recommend it.
Yes, I just posted here in the chat, guys. Definitely, please go check it out. I haven't seen all of it in its entirety, but some really, really great stuff from just the parts of it I was listening to when I was. So I'll definitely have to check it out after this interview. Um, I think it's a really, really great topic too. I was thankful enough that my parents were not like, you need to be this and be that, but like it's very still a challenge in society. Like you need to do this, you need to do that. So
Yeah.
when you find yourself and also find people around you that encourage you to do that, because like shout out to my friends, man. Like I like my fiance, some of the early stuff on my channel, I had her proofread the scripts. I was like, hey, what do you think?
Yeah.
Would think of stuff like that. And then even like when I was putting out some of my early videos, I would actually send it to all my friends first, like, guys, what do you think I could improve about that? And just like, shout out to them for, always being supportive of me too. And
Yeah.
they always make some jokes about like, oh, you're famous. I'm like, dude, I'm not famous. Stop saying stuff like that, man. I'm just a guy with opinions. So, yeah,
I think also it's really important that you define what your success is. Okay. Your success is not what I think your success should be. We all have an internal barometer inside of us. And, we all know what our lives would need to look like to be successful. Okay. And, I talk about in the TEDx what success is not. I say it's not um, the airbrushed covers of fitness magazines and fashion magazines setting an impossibly high bar for this is what you need to look like. And it's not the constant bombardment of television commercials telling us what we have to buy or you're not successful. And it's definitely not, the parade of conspicuous consumption on Instagram, that celebrities flaunt, much of which is cultivated and curated by publicists and
Right.
Photoshop and all that shit anyway. And I talk about the idea that, imagine a guy that's in his late 70s, he's a janitor, he's an immigrant, doesn't speak English very well, not probably the first guy that would be at the top of our list of someone successful. But what if I told you that same guy saved all of his money, put his only daughter through medical school? She went on to become a brilliant research scientist, saving thousands of lives. We'd say he was pretty successful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to judge success in others necessarily on, you know, the shiny exterior. You got to look beyond it, and you can't judge yourself by it. Just because you're not pulling down big bucks or you're not, hearing the applause of the crowd, you seek success by maintaining and improving your character and your integrity and continuing to work hard in self-discipline and work hard when you're not pulling down the big bucks and hearing the roar of the crowd. Anyone can be a hero in their own life when everything's going right. It's when things aren't going right, are you able to kind of cowboy up and realize that, the steel is tempered in the fires of adversity.
Right. Very, very, very well said. All things I can really relate to, especially like, the history of my channel and stuff too. Because there were times where I was doing jobs I didn't like to do, but it's like, what Matt's line in season 5, Matt Borlenghi, it's like all that stuff gets easier because you're doing it for them. I definitely think about that too with the example that you described. So really, really, really great stuff. Another quick, well, first, before I get to this next question, we're about 30 minutes in. How are we on time?
I'm good. I'm
Okay,
okay.
cool.
I kind of allocated like 45 minutes to an hour, so
Okay, cool. All right, so
I'm
let me just
if I wasn't enjoying talking to you, geez, I gotta run. I get a bunch of stuff.
yeah,
No,
I'm
I'm
glad you're
enjoying
enjoying.
this. So
Good,
yes, my pleasure.
good. So another quick question for the chat. Kyan wants to know, can you ask Sean if he has any favorite scene partners from any of your daytime television roles?
Ooh, I'm really blessed. I mean, I work with some terrific people. Um, Going back to General Hospital, I loved working with Steve Burton. Steve and I had a really unique relationship as the Quartermain brothers. Steve and I were close friends, and we used to always say when AJ and Jason can't talk to each other, Sean and Steve always can, and that allowed us to have a very believable relationship as brothers on TV. Wow, right now I work with Kimberlyn Brown, who plays my wife, Sheila Carter, on Bold and the Beautiful, and she's just a terrific actress. Love working with her. Love working with Catherine Kelly Lang. Um, uh, the actress who plays my daughter, Annika Noel. There's something I enjoy about every actor I work with on my show that's different. You know, and if I can't immediately find something, I work to find it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? I mean, it goes back to what I told you about authenticity and
Right.
connection. It's critical in your real life, but for me, it's critical in acting. And people always ask me acting advice, and I say, look, before you can slip on the skin of another character, you got to be comfortable in your own skin. And once
Right.
you're comfortable in your own skin, you become a very, very powerful actor. Assuming that you can bring that to your technique and everything.
Definitely. Oh, yeah, it's we got Sensei Ford in the chat. He says the bad boy of karate
Hey,
keeps looking
Chris, I
younger.
didn't know you burned down my damn furniture store. Jeez, the hell
Well,
did I ever do to Dennis?
well, see, there's a spinoff fight we need to see is a Dennis versus Mike Barnes and stuff like that.
Oh
And
no.
Chris or Sensei Chris,
Do you
thank you
know
for
the only
the.
person who calls it? The only people who call William Chris are, and he'll tell you this,
I'm
are
sorry.
me and his mother.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No,
Sensei
no,
Ford is what I
you
meant to say.
can't. Not that you
Okay.
can't, but it's just
Yeah.
he's like he's so used to being called William.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says Silver made me. So, but I want to give him a shout out too because I wasn't aware that he was aware of my channel, and he commented on my YouTube post. It was like, like, this is gonna be great. Stryfe always does. So Sensei Ford, thank you so much. And
Sensei
Kyan
Ford is a
says,
great guy.
yeah.
Great guy.
Kyan also says, thanks for answering my questions. Much appreciated, Sean.
Sure.
Well, what here? So while he's on the subject, what's your fondest memory working with Sensei Ford back in Karate Kid Part 3? Because I know you guys auditioned together, right, for Karate Kid Part 3?
We did, I believe. Yeah.
Yes.
I just remember Chris was a really nice guy. I was well aware of his martial arts acumen. He was a serious martial artist, extremely polite. I got along great with him, and he and I have maintained a friendship for what, 35 years
That's
now.
awesome.
And it is awesome. It really is. When I was inducted into the Masters Hall of Fame for martial arts, and Chris was I guess you'd say the MC, and that was kind of nice to be able to share that experience with him. And when I think of Chris, the two things that pop into my mind is he's a terrific martial artist and epitomizes the very best qualities of martial arts, and he is a consummate gentleman.
That's awesome. Yeah, he says I auditioned for Mike Barnes, but the best man for the job got the job. So it's so awesome to see to have both of you guys here too. So let's transition to Cobra Kai.
Okay.
While we have a little bit of time.
Sure.
So here's one question I want to ask. So I know you were familiar with the movie, the first movie when you auditioned for Mike Barnes
Sure.
back in the 80s. Were you familiar with both 1 and 2, or
Oh yeah.
so?
I was the guy that bought a ticket, man. I was a fan.
Yeah. So
You know?
what's your fondest memory of seeing either of those movies? Did you go like with your family? Did you go with your friends? Like anything you can kind of recall about seeing those movies for the first time?
I don't remember who I went with. I can just tell you that much in the same way is no matter when, like, there's a Rocky movie on TV and it's the final fight, you have to stop everything and watch it.
Right.
Because John Avildsen was so adept at tapping into that underdog and emotionality that we all carry with us, that when you watch the final fights in Rocky, much like the final fight in The Karate Kid, it never fails to instigate the same emotions it did that first time. And it just creates a feeling that resonates, that no matter how much of an underdog you are, the underdog can be victorious sometimes. And as somebody that's been in the film, and as somebody that has seen the film as somebody that wasn't in the film, I still get the same feeling. And that's what sticks with me.
That's awesome. So then here's a question too, because before Cobra Kai, you at least became not acquainted, but friends with both Billy and Yuji before Cobra Kai. When did that happen? Was that after
Yeah.
Karate Kid Part 3? Right
No,
before?
no, 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 no. So I was doing a TV show called Werewolf. I was the guest
Okay.
star. It was for Fox. And Billy's close friend was the other guest star. So Billy came to the set, and I actually have a photo of me and Billy. It's on my Instagram.
That's
From
awesome.
1988. And I
That's
was
awesome.
really excited to meet Billy because, like, he was Johnny Lawrence.
Right.
I mean, I was, and so I have wanted to work with Billy for decades. And when I finally did get to work with him, that was a bucket list thing. I know that sounds corny, but I have always wanted to work with Billy. And I think he and I really had terrific chemistry together.
Definitely.
He's such a talent, that guy. And he's a great guy too. So I knew Billy before I did Karate Kid 3. I don't remember exactly. Oh, I think I might have met Yuji when he came to my hometown when we had a tournament for Sensei Demura. Sensei Demura was a teacher of mine,
That's awesome.
and he was Pat Morita's stunt double.
Right.
And
Right.
so my karate school had come under the umbrella of his Japan Karate Federation, and so we would have a tournament once a year, and I think that's when I met Yuji. And
Okay.
Yuji's a terrific guy too. I
Oh,
mean,
he's
it's so
so
funny.
awesome.
All the bad guys are really nice guys.
Yeah, it's that's awesome. I didn't realize
Not
you studied
not that Ralph, not that Ralph isn't.
right. No,
Not that Ralph isn't, but it's just ironic.
right. No, I've had a pleasure to meet Billy several times at some conventions and stuff like that too. Haven't met Yuji. I've met Ralph. Ralph's, of course, amazing. So Sensei Demura, am I pronouncing it right?
Demura.
Demura, I'm sorry.
Sensei Demura.
Was it Shotokan, Goju Ryu? What was he teaching?
Well, he was teaching Shitoru Itosakai.
Okay.
And from my perspective, I mean, it might be splitting hairs, but I think it was about as close to Miyagi-Do. It was very similar to Miyagi-Do,
Okay.
Which is ironic that that's what I studied as opposed to Tangsu-Do, which is Korean, which is
Right.
what Cobra Kai, I think, was based on. And Sensei Demura was a very special man. He really was called Shihan Demura, which means master, but it doesn't just mean master. It's almost like being knighted by the queen, because the title of Shihan can only be passed down by the Emperor of Japan.
Oh, wow.
And so to say that Sensei Demura was a big deal would be an understatement. And every time they ask some famous martial artist who the legit martial artists in the world are, you hear the names of some famous people, and they always include Sensei Demura.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know he was the subject. I believe a documentary. He was like the real Miyagi.
The real Miyagi. The real Miyagi.
Right. Yeah, I remember. I knew that he was the stunt double for Pat Morita, but I didn't know that you studied under him too. So that's awesome to learn.
He had such a great sense of humor. He had a stroke later in life, and I was sitting next to him at a dinner, and I said, "Sensei, how are you?" And he goes, "I'm doing okay," but he says, "I do okay. Hard for people to understand me." And I said, "Sensei Demura, no one could understand you before the stroke anyway, so I mean, it doesn't really matter." You're much funny.
Oh, that's awesome.
But he was a great man.
That's awesome. Okay, so I got a unique question for you, and I want your opinion on this. So I put out a video a couple years ago that people tore me apart over, which was a dream match between Mike Barnes from '85 versus Miguel season 2. I said Miguel would win, but before you say my opinion's a joke, I'm gonna explain my reasoning. So obviously Mike Barnes, national fighter, tournament terror, and whatnot too. But the way I saw it was that Daniel was able to defeat Mike because once he no longer feared Mike, he scored the point and won. Now, from the way the films work, right? Of course, Daniel gets in scuffles, he loses at first, then he trains, then he gets better and stuff like that. So Miguel, he's kind of a mix of Johnny and Daniel in the modern day. But what I really liked about Miguel before his injury in season 2 was that he was one of the few, if not the only, Cobra Kai student to utilize both defense and offense. Because you look at his fights with Hawk, you look at his fights with Robbie and things like that. And at the end of season 2, he was implied to be superior to Robbie. So even though I explained all that, people were like, "Nope, sorry, nope, get out of here! Like you're disrespecting Sean Kanan and everything." So I'm
a little biased. So,
yeah. but I'm interested in hearing that. What do you think of that reasoning? What do you think?
I think possibly Miguel would have won when Mike was 17, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because Mike was not fighting for the right reasons. He wasn't fighting with ki. He was fighting for all the wrong reasons. And I think on some level, he would have been self-aware enough to know that, and I think that would have been possibly the splitting the hairs difference of Miguel coming from a place of good, which ultimately would have, I think, made his karate stronger. Had Mike been fighting for a good reason, a real reason, not money,
right?
I think Miguel would have had his hands full.
Yeah, and it's very funny you mentioned that too, because Chosen in season 5 episode 8, he says the reason Daniel beat him was that he was fighting for, not against, and that lesson even past that episode is reinforced several times throughout the show. So I really like like how you brought that up too. So speaking of dream matches, if we could take Mike Barnes from '85 against any of the kids from Cobra Kai, who are some of your dream match opponents would be?
Well, I think it'd be a Hawk.
Okay.
I think that would be cool. Muscles just for the comedy value.
Yeah.
Um, but of course, of course, Robbie and Miguel. Uh, yeah, I think. Why is there anyone I didn't mention that you're thinking?
Well, see, of course, with the Iron Dragons,
Oh yeah, if you're talking about that, yeah.
yeah. Well, see, what's funny too is like, I noticed in one of the episodes, like when Silver and Wolf are training Axel, trying to get him like, hey, don't care about Samantha LaRusso and all this other stuff. They kind of reminded me of Kreese and Silver training Mike in the '80s. So, it would have been really cool because like Axel has like this machine, but then of course you bring a different intensity as Mike of like I like in one of my character analysis I described you being one of the best fighters simply because you could talk shit and beat somebody up at the same time, so that was really cool. You did mention though that you had a soft spot for Dimitri, right? One of your favorite characters.
Yeah.
Who would be if Mike was another sensei in Cobra Kai, or like in the show? Who are some of the kids then you would like to train if you could say top 3?
I would say Dimitri, Kenny, and Hawk.
All really good picks and whatnot too. And speaking of Kenny,
Kenny's in Bloodhound.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So hey, we got to check that out, guys. So definitely check out Bloodhound. But speaking of Kenny, I had Dallas Dupree Young on the show not too long ago, and then in one of his Twitch streams, I asked him if he and Tanner could pick a dream match. If Kenny and Robbie versus 2 other people, they picked you and Yuji as their
cool.
tag team dream match. So shout out to
Nice.
Dallas and Tanner. So yeah. So I want to touch on this really quickly. You watched one of my analysis videos on Mike. Did you see the first one, or was it just the more recent one?
I don't know if I remember the first one.
Okay.
The more recent one comes to mind. Yeah.
What was something you liked about the video? I'm very curious because like you're one of the only one of the actors that has actually seen a video. Some of the conclusions that you might have drawn in.
You know what? You kind of caught me.
It's okay.
It's been refresh. I don't want to refresh my memory.
So actually,
sometimes they blend together, and I attribute them to the wrong people. So just refresh my memory.
Yeah, definitely. So so I actually have a script up here too. So one of the things I talked about was obviously like the fandom really believed that you should have won against Johnny. So one of the things I did, I said maybe from a writing standpoint, for Johnny to have beaten Mike Barnes, that means that like later down the line, his victory over Mike would have mean even more, especially, and I was kind of right because look, he won against Sensei Wolf. So it's one of those things that's like where like, yeah, Mike should have been at the top of his game, but also he kind of had got a little bit of cocky because he was still fighting those inner demons. Because when you try to say your karate is a joke, you immediately get interrupted with the foot to the face and stuff like that too. So, but I also really talked about how effective you were as a sensei because you were able to kind of just bring a whole nother level to the challenge and things like that too. So
I really looked at it like Mike being a sensei was an opportunity for him to gain some redemption and absolution for his past behavior. And I really wanted to convey the gravitas of the Sekai Taikai and its danger to the students so they understood what they were in for and that they would be as prepared as possible. So it was kind of a tough love thing. But I think below Mike's kind of drill instructor exterior, he actually cared quite a bit for those kids and wanted them to do the very best that they could, and also wanted to be of service to Daniel.
Right.
To kind of, hey, look, maybe I can do this and it'll just move a couple inches towards, me, resolving the drama that we had before. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really love that you were able to ad-lib the line because I think you mentioned it with Ken or somebody else who's like, you're like, I screwed up my chance. So
yeah,
when you ad-lib that was
the first ad-lib in that scene, and then the second one was when I yelled "move."
Yeah, that was so awesome. So like so that line, was that meant to be like Mike was on his way to Sekai Taikai had he not got involved with Silver?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's really cool. quick. I'm having such a great time, but I also don't want to ignore the chat. So let me see if I can get a quick chat question.
I'm gonna have to go in just a few minutes.
Yes. So let's do a couple last questions. So
sure.
Jeremy asks, how was it working with being directed by Danzig in the Change of Face segment in Verotica? Verotica. Did you tower over him? Mike Barnes versus Danzig, who would win? So.
Well, first thing, I had to shave my damn head for that movie. I was bald as a cue ball for that. You know, that film is in its own category. You know, I really didn't know a lot about the Misfits music or anything like that, so I think a lot of people were kind of really fanboying, and I knew he was in this band, and you know, I'd heard of him, but he was cool to work with. I mean, you know, he and I got along fine.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's about all I can say about that.
That's awesome. Okay, so then 2 quick questions. Number 1, if Mike Barnes is training in the dojo, what are the top 5 songs on his playlist?
Ooh, well, I You're the Best Around is there for sure. Okay. What else? TNT by AC/DC.
Okay.
I'm looking at my training music. I would have to say Eye of the Tiger.
Okay.
Can't Be Touched by Roy Jones Jr.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with California by Tupac.
That's perfect. So then my last question was, what I really liked about Mike is that he had a Miyagi of his own, how he got into furniture sort, you know, with using his hands to create instead of destroy. Right. If there was a flashback scene that we were able to have Mike and you know, his father figure, who would you cast in that role for the father figure?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, that would be so cool. That would have been
right.
Really,
or
really cool.
would it be great if it was like Christopher Walken? Damn, Mike, you know, furniture, not your hands.
That's so amazing.
I cast Walken in anything, like anything that's better with Christopher Walken.
That's amazing, Sean. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day for this, and I'd love to have you back if you know down the road to follow up to see what you're doing.
I would love that. I would love that too.
I really hope you enjoyed this interview. You're like my 4th or 5th interview at this point. I try to like bring some unique questions and you know make it interesting. So I really hope you enjoyed it.
You did, and I really appreciate it. And I want to thank everybody who you know shared this hour with us. I appreciate it. Please do check out my TEDx talk and go to badboyeats.com. Get yourself some hot sauce. All right.
Perfect. Yes. All right.
Take care.
Thank you so much, Sean.
All right, buddy. Bye bye.
All right. See ya. All right, guys, that was Sean Kanan, man. Really fun interview. And again, thanks to him to taking time out of his day to talk with us and try to get as many questions as I could to you guys too. But yeah, I got some more interviews on the way as well. By the way, let's shout out his social media. So you can find him. I believe it's just at. Let me find it real quick too. I'm gonna post it here in the chat. Let's see. Let's find. Okay, it's Sean.Kanan is his Instagram. If you want to support him, definitely check out Way the Cobra, some bad boy hot sauce. And then he's also active on Twitter as well, which I think is just Sean Kanan. Yes, it is. So definitely check it out. Guys, thank you so much for making this happen. Everybody that was able to you know tune in and everything. I try to get as many questions as I could from the chat as well too, and try to go with the flow of the interview as always too. Shout out to if he's still in here, Sensei Ford. I was not expecting him to show up here in the chat, so maybe we'll get Sensei Ford next on it too. So yeah, thank you guys for doing this. So tonight I'll be recording. I put up my YouTube post earlier. I'll be interviewing. This will be off stream, so I'll be editing the interview and uploading either tomorrow or for Thursday. It'll be Daniel J. Kim, who plays Yoon Do-jin. So very excited to talk to him as well. I'm excited to talk to anybody I can talk to. Let me see if I got one. Give me a second, guys. If they got back to me. let's see. Oh, I just saw the message for Sean. Okay. I'm confirming on a time. So, but hoping to speak to Sean Payne pretty soon, and possibly Carmen, but we'll see. So kind of ironing out some details. So I can't confirm anything just yet and whatnot. So let me kind of go back to the chat here too, and let's see. Thanks, guys. Everybody stopping in. Jeremy, Alpha Fang, Bilbo, Sonic, of course. Yeah, definitely some more interviews on the way. Kareem. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I'm very excited and whatnot. So I'll call off at work. Now I don't know if some of these interviews will be live or not. That's when I'm still kind of ironing out the details. So I want to make sure, you know, I kind of get that lined up too. Because some people prefer live interviews, some don't. You know, I gotta work with that. So we got live chat exists. Hey, what's up, Blocky? So Kareem, to answer your question, this is actually a song I made from different loops. The song is just called Ending. It was basically just kind of like it was like a couple, like some hip hop loops and stuff I kind of put together. Basically, like when I was kind of putting the loops together, I was supposed to I was thinking like Streets of Rage, kind of like Tekken a little bit, basically things like that. Well, really more so Streets of Rage, like kind of cutscene music. So Geekdom101, thank you so much. It says great work. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Tekken Tag. Now, obviously the intro song, the one you hear like with kind of like the organs and the drum beats, like that's always the beginning of my videos. That's definitely a Tekken Tag, Tekken-esque thing, which is called High Score. So, guys, again, thank you guys so much. Thank you all for the great questions and whatnot. I'm gonna be time stamping this interview and whatnot. So, oh, do you have a channel with your music? No, man. But it's funny that you mentioned that. I just got back into playing drums again after 10 years, and I do plan on making another channel for drum covers and stuff like that. So, Elaine, I'm sorry if I'm misreading that. Thank you for subbing as well. It's yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know if I could I could maybe upload these things. It's one of those things where it's like those loops that you buy that are licensed. So like I don't get like demonetized because I use them because it's technically my creation and whatnot. So but yeah. So Martin Cove interview win, dude. I would love to have Martin on. I don't know if he would say yes to me. I've gotten some no's so far already. So you know it is what it is. Chahal says, "What am I doing after Karate Kid Legends?" I still definitely plan on remastering a lot of Cobra Kai content, updating it for 4K, updating voiceovers, better editing, stuff like that. So yeah, and just kind of doing whatever content comes out. Some people wanted me to cover Avatar: The Last Airbender, both the original and Netflix show. So we'll see how that goes and whatnot. But yeah, guys, thank you so much. Let's see. I got a little bit of time. What do you guys want to talk about? I got a little bit of time before I got to get ready for Taekwondo. So, but yeah, I mean, if Martin goes down, I would love to definitely, get him for sure. Excuse me. Howard the Duck. Do I edit Luke? I just used Audacity, honestly. So I used to be a musician, long time ago. The first instrument I ever played was piano. So I played stuff by ear. I learned to read sheet music later, but I have a tough time of grasping tempo, beats per minute and stuff like that. So, but I can kind of read sheet music. Like I'd have to sit down and read it, but I mostly learned stuff by ear. I can't play two-handed, but I kind of more grasp it from somewhat of a music theory, like knowing pitch, knowing key, and stuff like that. Yeah, and then I just learned how to play drums because through Rock Band, actually. So it's funny because I had in Texas, you take this musical aptitude test like before you go into middle school of what instruments you could play. I don't remember the max score. I want to say it was like 130, 140. But I ended up making like either 10 or 15 points away from the perfect score. But I never got into music because I was really bad about sticking with hobbies when I was younger, because I like to do everything. I like video gaming, I like cosplay, I like wrestling, I like martial arts, I like music and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been you know, I just never stuck with it. And then I just got back into music when I was 16 or 17. And then my first semester, my senior year of high school, my old band teacher that gave me that test, she was no longer there at that school. She's like, I'm surprised. I was like, I'm kind of glad you stuck with music. And I was like, no, I actually am, you know, they brought me in because I was taking applied music at the time. They brought me in to play the bass line on keyboard because the person that was playing tuba was doing bad in class and couldn't go to the competition. So I was doing that. And she's like, well, and then she told me like, yeah, you know, you took the test and everything, you could have played anything you ever wanted. And so that really just like was just kind of like crazy that like I had some kind of aptitude, because music runs on my mom's side of the family, but I was the only one in my immediate family that ever took any interest. So yeah, then I learned to play drums. And yeah, I was self-taught. There was like not a lot of things, unfortunately, that I didn't really do. So this time around, I'm doing a lot of rudiments, learning limb independence, which was something I really struggled with before. So yeah, I did some drumming yesterday before the interview. Had like a fresh mindset and stuff like that. So yeah, yeah, I was like, Geekdom, your name sounds familiar, bro. Like, what in the? I was like, hold on, we gotta look this up, bro. Holy shit, bro. Dude, what are you doing in my channel, bro? Like, I'm like so. Damn, dude. Well, first I'm gonna sub to you for one, but holy crap. I'm sorry, guys. This is. I respect you and love Cobra Kai. Holy well, dude. Thank you so much, man. I've seen your name before. I'm gonna be honest. I've maybe seen parts of your video and stuff like that. So it's really cool to see your name in here, man. So that's awesome, dude. Like, I'm gonna have to check you out, man. Sorry, I'm a little starstruck right now because like I'm like, what in the hell is this guy doing in my live stream, man? So I appreciate it, man. Martin Cove. Yeah, dude, shout out to Geekdom101, man. And stuff like that. So yeah. Rickenberg, what was your favorite songs that were on Cobra Kai? If you're talking about like non-soundtrack, Head Games was definitely one of my I would say probably like the favorite needle drops, I would say. Fight Song in season 2 as well, and stuff like that. So yeah. Let's see, Cobra Kai discussion, yeah, for sure, definitely in the future and whatnot. So yeah, let's see, Avatar: Last Airbender, let's go. Why wouldn't I do it? Thank you, man, I appreciate it, dude. I like your breakdowns. Do more karate films, endless content. Okay, well, dude, if this guy has like saying, hey, this is what you should do, I'm gonna listen to it, man. So yeah, I'll definitely have to do it for sure. I'm definitely gonna be. So Geekdom, you do analysis content then too, right? I saw you, like your most view video was like Ultimate Gohan. So yeah, I'll have to definitely check you out, man. I'm really honored that you like my work, man. That means a lot. Dragon Ball, okay, I got it. Yeah, I have not watched Dragon Ball like in a long time, but Cell Saga was definitely like the one era I remember the most. What's Karate Kid Cobra Kai character that you did not like or hated at first? Tori easily. And it's not even that I was like a pro Sam person, but it was really hard for me to like her in season 2 and season 3. Like, I think they would have, if they would have done a little bit better writing, she might not have. No, I'm on. Well, dude, thank you, man. Thank you. Hey, mutual respect, dude. So, I see the thing with Tori, I really wish they would have given her more ambiguity, I guess is the word, in season 2 and 3. But I really loved how they did. They edged out more in season 4 and 5 because she wanted to fight with honor. Was doing what she could to help Kreese and help others. Really, really cool. So yeah, and you know, Peyton List, shout out to Peyton List. I've met her before actually at a convention. Sweetheart, man, sweetheart, total sweetheart, complete opposite of Tori, Peyton and whatnot. So Miguel is Gohan. I can see that for sure. So, yeah, Sam. Yeah, a lot of people don't like. And I think just Sam gets overhated. I don't necessarily care if people dislike her character, but I don't like the people that go after the actresses and the actors and stuff. Like when they're just playing characters on a show, man. It's not that deep. So. Geekdom, not gonna lie, I've been caught up on Daima waiting for episode. Yeah, please shout out to Geekdom101, man, and stuff. So if you take your favorite not Karate Kid related book or film or game or series and make a sequel spinoff to give you a better conclusion. Favorite book or film or game or series and make a sequel or spinoff. EarthBound. If we could go back and visit the world of EarthBound, I'm such a hardcore EarthBound fan. Like, you guys have no. Hold on, give me a second. I'll show you how hardcore. Shout out to my buddy Charles, who's a mod in this chat. Brought me a giant Mr. Saturn back from Japan for my birthday, dude. Shout out Charles. And stuff like that. I used to own EarthBound too, so yes, dude, bro, don't get me started, bro. I could talk all goddamn day about EarthBound. Dude, like, okay, I gotta pause this, bro. So yes, you did. So an Alpha, it's Chrono Trigger. 600 AD is the song. EarthBound changed my life. It was another, like Cobra Kai did, it changed my life. So I need to tell you all the story. I was fortunate enough to own a copy of EarthBound around 2000, 2001. This was when GameCube had just come out, right? Kmart was like fishing out a lot of, or they were getting ready to get rid of like a lot of old SNES 64 games. I was grounded that weekend and I have no clue how I did it, but I convinced my parents to buy me that game even though I was grounded. Last copy of EarthBound they had there for $15. $15, dude. I got that game. Unfortunately, I had to sell a lot of my Super Nintendo collection, and that later on, I think I sold that game for at least 100, 200 plus, and stuff like that. So I've cosplayed EarthBound, dude. We did the Chosen 4 a long time ago. Like I did Ness. I cosplayed Pooh at one point too. I mean, and I was introduced to EarthBound from the original Smash Brothers game. So it was really, really, really cool, man. And actually, yeah, this cup that my fiance Toto got me, you can see if it looks familiar, it's the one at Map, and then there's also a baseball bat on here, and of course my logo. One of the best Christmas gifts I've ever gotten and stuff. So, see, here's the thing. I've always wanted to do an essay on EarthBound, but like I would get in my own head because there's so many things I could write about that story, right? So many things I could write about that game. For me, I think the best thing about that game is that it's an ultimate metaphor of growing up and facing your fears, right? The game starts off, with bright colors and stuff like that. And as you progress, it gets darker and darker. But that at the end of it, even though there's a chance you might not make it back, you endure everything that Gygas throws at you and you make it back. And whatnot. So, anonymity. I'm sorry, I have a speech impediment. I suck at reading things. Super late, missed the entire thing, but Barnes was freaking awesome in the series. Cadell, dude, had fun on screen. Dude, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, dude, that's my whole EarthBound spiel and whatnot. So, yeah, but yeah, I played a lot of. Like, Super Nintendo is easily one of my favorite libraries of all time. And guys, if you enjoyed this discussion, I highly encourage you to check out my discussion with Zach and Leo yesterday, the composers from Cobra Kai. All we did was nerd out about video game music and stuff like that. EarthBound stream. Yeah, I did stream it a long time ago. So another funny EarthBound story. The last time I streamed a game was back when I was on Twitch in 2020. I actually got the Sword of Kings on that run first drop. And that game, that item's so hard, 1/128. So Were you disappointed that Hector Salazar did not return? No, it was fine. I think he wrapped up his story in season 5, just given how his character and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, Chrono Trigger, favorite of mine. I need to go back and beat Final Fantasy 4 and 5. I need to play Dragon Quest 5 and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm actually, this is an EarthBound remix right now. Dreaming on Distant Shores. I think it's supposed to be a remix of Magic Hint. So, if they put a third EarthBound mother character, I would say Jeff. I think Jeff would be cool. Somebody that's like not a non-psychic user. But yeah, dude, like yeah, like there, it's so funny and whatnot too. Sword of Kings brought from Dragon Quest. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. That's really really cool. I'm trying to think if I have anything else EarthBound related around my desk right now that I don't. So back when I cosplayed Ness, I had like the cap, I had the yo-yo, I had the mat, I had everything. Ness is Miguel too. Hell yeah, dude. So I haven't played a lot of EarthBound, but I can tell you're a big fan of it. Oh, dude, I could go on for hours about that. And so from E&D, their trip, yep. So that makes sense. I grew up like on Super Nintendo and retro games and stuff like that. I think that's what really got me into like appreciating characters and stories and things like that is, EarthBound, Zelda, of course, huge Zelda fan, Kingdom Hearts and whatnot and stuff. So, a lot of fun stuff. So, the Japan trip, yep. So, AJ, will I ever meet Devin? I would love to meet Oona if she does cons. I've reached out to her for an interview. I got to interact with her on Dallas' stream. She said she was open to it. So maybe we'll have it. But I did get to have a question. I did get to ask her a question, which was, because like in season 5, in episode 8, Taikai, what ended up happening is, like when Sam steps on the mat, or when Sam's on the mat waiting for Tori, when Devin steps on, Sam looks a little shocked, right? I took that as Sam's reaction because they trained together under the Eagle Fang, because we know Sam knows the flying tornado kick and that she trained in Eagle Fang in secret. So I took that as they trained together, but Oona thinks otherwise. They didn't train together, but that's kind of why they were still shocked. But Devin at least knows of Sam LaRusso, so yeah, I would love to pick her brain, honestly. So I reached out to her through her reps and stuff like that. So yeah. Young Kreese versus Hawk. Season 6 Hawk would definitely put up a fight. So and whatnot. AG, I'm sorry. The best thing to do is like IMDb. Be your best bet. I can't tell you one way or the other how to get the reps and stuff like that, just because it's sensitive information. So, but yeah, just reach out, be professional, and that's what you can kind of do, and see if like they'll get an interview with you. So, let's see. But yeah, Young Kreese and Hawk, who would win? Season 6 Hawk would definitely put up a fight. Young Kreese might win though. It's hard to say. So, you do, AG. Yeah, you do. So you got to sign. Yeah, it's one of those things, basically. So get from. Oh, yes. Okay, I know what you're talking about now. It's way. Let me go grab it real quick. Mr. Miyagi interview. So, yeah. Let me actually. Okay, my fiance wants me to show off the more EarthBound stuff. Give me a second. So. All right. Here's my old Nest cap I've had for like 12 years. So I have this right here. I still have the yo-yo, which says Eagle Lander. Camera's mirrored, so but you can kind of get the idea. Nest Amiibo, of course. And shout out to my friends, my other friends that also brought me back this from Japan. The not Final Starman, Starman Deluxe, I think, was the boss name. This is an actual like official Mother 2 Japanese figure. So let's see. So Hawker Tori in part 3. I don't know, Tori's come a long way. So watching your Easter egg improve my Dragon Ball. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. You remember small details only the hardest core of people pick up. Dude, I appreciate that. So here's a hot take. I'm gonna pause for a second. It's refreshing to have somebody like you notice stuff like that, because all I get, dude, is like sometimes hater in the comments, which, you know, I mostly ignore, where it's just like, you know, oh, that's a reach and blah, 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 blah. But like, and maybe I'm not communicating myself well enough sometimes, but like, especially in like my earlier Easter egg breakdowns, I like that, like when they reframe shots to reference the old movies and stuff like that. So same, yeah, see, you know what I'm talking about, dude. It's like, bro, I'm sorry that you don't understand what I'm trying to explain to you. You know, like it's, yeah. So like, you get it, man. You 100% get it, dude. Hey, Geekdom, dude. I don't know if you use Discord, man, or like Instagram, dude. Let's definitely talk. Let's definitely talk sometime off stream, man. I want to pick your brain on some stuff too. So whenever, dude. I might have some free time tomorrow, but like let's I'm trying to think. I'm kind of like sorry, I'm kind of like putting you on the spot here, like in stream. You know what? Hold on. Let me look at your channel. Let me see what's the best way to reach out to you, man. But I want to study some of your stuff too before we have a conversation as well. So let me look back at chat real quick too. Email. Okay. Email. Okay, I'll send you an email for sure after stream. I'll probably get off here the next maybe 10 minutes or so. So, but yeah, let's definitely get together, man. I want to pick your brain and whatnot. If there's something I could ever help out with like with your channel, dude, please let me know. So, awesome breakdowns and stuff like that too. So, yeah. Yep, this is Bloody Tears from Castlevania 4. I mean, I know it came out in Castlevania 2 originally, but this is like the Castlevania 4 iteration. So, hell yeah. So, let's see. Dimitri is definitely one of my favorite characters for sure. So, let's talk about Cobra Kai. Hell yeah. Let's do it, man. So, Dimitri was annoying in part 1 and 2, but was cool in part 3. Yeah, he definitely got his redemption at the end of part 3 and stuff like that. So, yeah. Oh, snap. I'm not drunk. I swear. That's all good. I know what you mean. So, wait, what? Please. Hi, dude. I've never touched grass before in my life, but I don't think you will be able to teach me how to. Can you tell me someone who will show me how to touch grass? What? Like, I have no clue what this guy means. So, I was like, dude, chill. So, that's all good. I just didn't know what you meant, bro. Like, it's like Sean said earlier, man. Just go for walks, bro. That's the easiest way to touch some grass. And that was some really solid advice, man. Shout out to Sean, man. Sean was really cool, dude. Really, really cool. So ASMR, oh my god. I'm really considering pursuing voice acting too. I would love to do voice acting. It was another old hobby of mine. You know, I used to do like some amateur fans, you know, like fan films and stuff like that. So yeah, that would definitely be a hobby of mine. I need to actually drink and not drink this way. But yeah, yeah, dude, it's been cool, man. It's been a fun stream. Even talking with you guys too, like with Sean and whatnot. You know, it's one of those things, man. I used to get in my head, like I used to think I was just not good at streaming. Like I was, because like when I would do gaming streams, I'd be super focused and then like be really bad about paying attention to the chat. So like I tried my best to kind of like interact with everybody now. You know, you just try to learn. That's all you can kind of do. That's all you can kind of do is just get better and stuff like that. So, Yeah, voice acting. I'm actually. Oh, okay, dude. Yeah, we'll definitely have some stuff to talk about. Obviously, I still need to take classes and all kinds of stuff. I'm nowhere near ready and stuff like that. So, but yeah. As far as detectors, yeah. So my friend, I don't know if he's in the chat, but one of my mods, he's actually in the industry now too. He was one of the guys I used to do stuff like that with back in the day, and he was really. I'm so happy for him, man. He's now in not Critical Role. What the hell is the god dang show name, dude? I'm so bad about. What in the well, he was in Stranova. What in the hell is that thing, that show he was talking about? Let me hold on. I gotta look at Discord. I feel like I'm blanking so much, dude. Solo leveling. There we go. He just solo leveling. At least as a class. Okay, cool. Yeah. Explain Cobra Kai in 3 words. That's a good question. Inspiring. Inspiring is the first word. Love letter, I guess, would be, if you kind of count that. Maybe if that's 3 words. Inspiring love letter is what I would call it and stuff like that. So several names, solo leveling. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. So, yeah. So here's my thing. Like, had Robbie won, it would have meant his losses to Miguel and Hawk mean that much more. Because like Miguel's arc was kind of like, as far as like tournaments and stuff, was season 1 and 2. Hawk was 3 and 4. So if they would have done 5 and 6 for Robbie to get past all that stuff, it would have been really, really cool. So whatever Harmon what does this mean? Oh, whatever happened to Harmon Quest. So True Beauty, Kaiju number 8. Yeah, he's in Chainsaw Man. 3 words, best show ever. Yep. Yeah. Gundam Witch of Mercury. It Never Dies. Rifle Villain Redemption. Yep. Yeah, he was in Genshin and Stranova. So for sure. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna shout him out, my buddy. He's gonna be like, bro, what are you doing here? What are you doing shouting me out? Shout him on the chat, because he, for those of you guys that don't know, he actually helps with the audio mixing for some of my videos as of late. So he's yeah, that's him right there, buddy. So I am yellow belt black stripe. I just got that in January. So I'm still working on the current Poomsae that I'm trying to learn and stuff like that. So it's just one of those things that's it's just taking me a bit and whatnot. So, but yeah, Robbie did win. Yeah, he did get a big sponsorship payout. Tanner said when he read the script, or when he read the actual contract, they put a number for him, which was like 750 grand. So yeah, for sure. Epic, tough, and funny. Yeah. Chariot, Junbi. Exactly. Purple belt. Oh snap. Let's go. What about this show? Is it they get relief characters like Stingray? Yeah, they used him very well and whatnot. So still going. My best friend is a 5th Dan, but he's been in since. Oh wow. Yeah. I'm like one of the few adults in my class, man. There's a lot of talented kids in my class and stuff like that too. I was even sparring with some of the black belts because I'm older and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so I'm 3rd degree black belt. Well, I'm not in karate. I'm in taekwondo and stuff like that. So I've always been hesitant to give out my dojang name because I don't want people to dox me. Honestly, I've unfortunately had some creeps before. So, but it is in Houston, as I will say. So yeah, I'm not in karate. I'm in taekwondo. So yeah, don't tell him. Yeah, see, he's got a good thing. Unfortunately, I've just had weird people like try to dox me and stuff like that. So taekwondo. Yeah, I want to learn grappling eventually too. I think you should definitely learn more than one style personally and stuff like that. So, do you think Chosen will be sketched out after he finds? Maybe. He might be. That's definitely one burning question some people would definitely want as far as that goes. So, but yeah. So, Taekwondo local ATHA. Nice. That's awesome. So, Taekwondo has different belt rankings than karate. Yep. Seems to be the hardest to get to black. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, that's really cool. I would love to learn. Rick may be watching. Inside joke there. I would love to learn Goju Ryu too. Goju Ryu would be really, really cool to learn. So, guys, I'm having a lot of fun, but I do got to get ready and stuff like that. So, I really appreciate all the love you guys make. The fact that you guys are a fan of my work have made this possible. Just I'm able to get these interviews and do all these cool things because of you guys. Thank you everybody that's tuned in and whatnot to Geekdom. I'm definitely gonna email you as soon as I get off stream here, man. I'm definitely excited to to connect, man. It's really cool. It's an honor and stuff like that. So last question, young Kreese versus Quan. If Kreese can get some grappling, he might have a chance on Quan. So, but you guys stay beautiful, stay awesome. We'll catch you around next time.